There is a specific quality to the silence of backcountry Pennsylvania in October. It is not the silence of absence. It is the silence of things that have stopped moving the moment you arrived. Kelloway Woods sits roughly 3 hours northeast of Dunmore, past the last county line where cell service dies and the interstate becomes a memory behind you. The state designated it a recreational area in 1971. By 2019, it had been quietly removed from every published trail map. The posted reason was erosion. The real reason was never published at all. What follows is a reconstruction of events from the night of October 13th. The sources are limited. They are also consistent. Ryan, Dani, Cole, and Priya had been planning the trip since August. It was Dani's idea. She had found the campsite on an old hiking forum, a post from 2003 describing Kelloway as remote, beautiful, and genuinely untouched. The forum post had no replies. The account that made it had no other posts. She thought that was charming. The car pulled into a small clearing. 4 doors opened. Ryan stepped out first. Worn flannel, scuffed boots, the easy skepticism of someone who needed to see a thing to believe it. Dani followed, already laughing at something. Cole unfolded himself from the back seat, holding a gas station bag that crinkled loudly. Priya came last, quiet, eyes already moving across the tree line. The campsite was everything the post had promised. A fire pit ringed by limestone. Log seats worn smooth by seasons of weather. Hemlock and white oak pressed in on 3 sides. A shallow creek ran somewhere behind the tree cover, its sound arriving in fragments. Cole immediately called dibs on the best log, which was indistinguishable from the others. Dani began stringing a tarp between 2 oaks. Ryan started making a fire. Priya walked the perimeter of the clearing once, slowly, before returning and sitting down without explaining why. It was golden. It was warm. It was exactly the kind of evening that makes you feel that some places still deserve to exist. The fire caught slowly, the way fires do when no one is rushing them. They passed the gas station bag around, chips that tasted like salt and nothing in particular. The kind of food that only exists on road trips and late nights. Dani laughed at something Cole said. Cole looked proud of himself for approximately 4 seconds. The light had deepened toward amber by then, the way October light does right before it gives up entirely. Long shadows leaned across the clearing from the tree line, unhurried, like they had nowhere better to be. There was nothing cinematic about any of it. No one was performing. They were just 4 people sitting around a fire, eating bad chips, existing in a place that had not yet shown them what it was. Ryan was the one who walked toward the trees. That was the kind of person he was. Practical, unhurried, the one who noticed the fire was getting low before anyone else thought to mention it. He moved through the leaf litter at the clearing's edge, boots pressing down the damp hemlock and dead oak leaves, the sound of the creek arriving a little louder the closer he got to the tree line. His hand ran along the bark of an old oak out of habit, the way you touch things without meaning to. Then his hand stopped. His body stopped. He leaned in close to the bark, and for a moment he was perfectly still. The kind of still that has nothing to do with calm. Ryan found the photograph at 6:47 p.m. It was pinned to the bark of a white oak at eye level. Not taped, not tacked, pinned, with a single rusted brad nail driven clean through the upper corner. The photograph was laminated, professionally, the kind of lamination that protected something intentionally and in advance. The plastic had clouded slightly with age, but the image beneath it was sharp enough. Ryan stared at it for a long moment before calling the others. The photograph showed all four of them. Cole laughed first, which was what Cole always did when something made him uncomfortable. He suggested it was a prank, some elaborate setup, someone with a telephoto lens and too much time. Dani took the photograph down carefully and turned it over. The back was blank. Ryan examined the lamination. It was not recent. Cole found the date. It had been scratched into the laminate itself, not printed, not stamped, scratched by something sharp into the plastic surface, so lightly it only caught the light at a specific angle. October 13th, 1987. Nobody laughed after that. The creak sounded closer than it had a moment ago. It hadn't moved. They had. 39 years. Cole suggested the date was unrelated. Dani suggested it was a coincidence. Ryan held the photograph and said nothing for almost a full minute. He had been born in 1991. Dani in 1993. The photograph showed him at the age he was now. Not younger, not different. At the age he was now, in an image that was older than he was. He was still processing this when he noticed his hand. Ryan had been 14 when he got that scar. He had been 14 in 1991. The photograph was from 1987, and yet the scar was there, settled into skin that should not have existed yet, sharp as it was in reality. Cole stopped joking. Dani's hands, when she reached for the photograph, were trembling slightly. She passed it instead to Priya. Priya held the photograph. She didn't look at the front of it at first. She looked at the back again. Then she turned it over and studied the image for a long time in silence. The fire popped. No one spoke. Then Priya slowly tilted the photograph and held it toward the firelight with two hands. Priya was the one who found the figures. In the background of the photograph, past the fire pit, past the log seats, at the exact boundary where the clearing met the tree line, 4 figures stood. They were difficult to see. The photograph's depth of field was shallow. The tree line was dark. But they were there. 4 of them. Standing. Still. Watching the people at the fire. Cole asked who they were. Nobody answered, because the answer that arrived in all of their minds simultaneously was the same answer, and none of them said it out loud. Priya looked up from the photograph and looked at the tree line. They decided to leave. The decision was immediate and unanimous and entirely reasonable. Ryan began kicking the fire down. Dani moved toward the car. Cole grabbed the gas station bag. Later, he would not be able to explain why. And Priya put the photograph in her jacket pocket. It was during the fire that Dani stopped moving. Cole touched her arm. She pointed at the limestone stones ringing the fire. The names were in the stone, not scratched, not painted. Weathered into the limestone itself, the way text weathers over decades. The edges of the letters soft and rounded, the stone around the carved lines stained dark with moisture and time. As if they had always been there, as if they had been there long enough to become the stone. Ryan, Dani, Cole, Priya. Carved into 4 separate stones of the fire pit ring, spaced evenly, facing inward. Ryan said it had to be someone else. Common names, a coincidence. He looked at his hand again. Priya took the photograph out of her pocket. She looked at it for a long time. Then she held it up. There was no date. The laminate surface was smooth, unscratched. There was no October 13th, 1987. There was no scratching at all. Priya turned it to every angle the firelight allowed. Nothing. Cole took it. Cole held it and turned it and looked at it for almost 90 seconds, and then set it down on the log seat and did not pick it back up. All four of them had seen the date. All four of them had discussed it. All four of them were certain, at different points in the last 40 minutes, that they had read numbers scratched into plastic. The laminate was smooth. There is a category of horror that does not announce itself. It does not arrive through doors. It does not make sounds you can trace. It operates instead at the level of perception, at the seam between what you experience and what is there. The dread of Kelloway Woods was never that something was present. The dread was always what was being overwritten. 4 people had shared the same false memory at the same moment, with the same specific detail, without coordinating it. Priya shined her flashlight into the trees. All 4 of them saw something standing between the pines. Later, when asked to describe it, each of them gave a different answer. That was the last thing they ever disagreed about. Some sounds stay with you after everything else fades. The creak of a structure under weight. A voice calling your name from a room you know is empty. The particular hush of a forest that has stopped pretending you are alone. Those are the sounds that live past 3 a.m. Those are the ones still playing when you have forgotten everything else. Ryan, Dani, Cole, and Priya were reported missing on the morning of October 14th. Kelloway Woods has been closed to the public since. The photograph was never found.